What's your favorite thing about black men?
Nothing. Black men suck.
They're
bad. They cheat. They don't care. I'm with the white boys.
What's your favorite thing about black men?
Nothing.
Why is that?
I don't like black men. Not very many meet my standard.
What's your favorite thing about black men?
Nothing. They're just terrible.
I was getting paid $22,000, and the guy who I was co-anchoring with was getting paid $50,000. So I went into my boss and I said, he's getting paid a lot more money than I'm getting paid. And you know what my boss said? Why should you make that much money? In 1980, he said, why should you make that much money? He said, he has kids. Do you have kids? And I said, no.
I cook for 5 and you cook.
Do you have a house? And I said, no. And he said, so tell me why you need the same amount of money. And I said, well, because we're doing the same job.
For most of us watching this video, gender equity has been a central issue to the duration of most of our lives. But it's very interesting hearing the nuance of the conversation between Oprah and her manager because, of course, as a worker, Oprah wanted equal pay, and that's quite understandable. But her manager asked a simple question, well, your co-star is taking care of a wife and 3 children. He has a house. So although by the letter of the law, what she's asking for is 100% fair, the greater question, of course, is what happens to society if the person that is taking care of 3-4 other people is getting paid the same as one person taking care of only themselves. Well, as time has played itself out, we have, by the letter of the law, gender equity, or closer to it. But you also have reactions to gender equity. And I don't think that many young ladies saw the reaction that was going to come with gender equity follow along with it. And now prices are being paid.
Can we just talk about that? Not one person, not one man on that train give up a seat for a woman. That would never happen in Liverpool where I'm from, you know? Like, just fucking ask someone if you want a seat. Like, a woman's been stood up the whole journey, even if it's a half the journey. I'm not talking about me, but like an old woman. Just pisses me off.
What's your favorite thing about black men?
Nothing. Black men suck. They're bad. They cheat. They don't care. I'm with the white boys.
This kind of messaging is something that many young men have heard pretty much all their lives from the opposite gender. And for my generation, we've heard it, I guess, more increasingly in the years post 2000. But if you are a young man in this kind of environment where essentially women's empowerment says that young ladies can openly say this, then the idea of chivalry or doing something for a young lady simply because she's a woman or the opposite gender is going to be more and more difficult because everything in society, even the Oprah interview, is telling you we want equal rights. And equal rights means, well, then your gender has absolutely nothing to do with any of this conversation. It's just the first person to get to the seat on the train, which you heard the young lady lament. Everyone in the train is standing up for, or at least the young ladies are standing up and all of the men are sitting down and there's no issue there. And that's kind of sort of a byproduct of this conversation here. I'm terrible. I'm no good. Okay, well then why in the world would I give up my seat for you? Indeed, this kind of open push for not just gender equality, but this kind of revenge, if you will, at men, it comes at a cost.
In the East Bay now, a family-run restaurant is reportedly shutting down because it held a ladies' night promotion and had to settle a discrimination lawsuit. Now, due to financial concerns, the owner of Lima in Concord says she's forced to close at the end of the year. Here's ABC 7 News reporter Tara Campbell.
The sign on the door makes the closure clear, while inside customers are enjoying one last cocktail, one more meal at Lima.
It's just sad. It's just so sad.
The family-run restaurant in downtown Concord has been around for nearly 9 years and is now set to close permanently at the end of the month.
I mean, I love this place. It's like they're like family to us.
The owner telling us they haven't been able to fully bounce back from the cost of settling a recent discrimination lawsuit related to discounting drinks for women on its ladies' night.
What's important to remember in this conversation is that it's not happening in a vacuum. I'm not trying to sound like I'm insensitive to gender equality, but it is all happening in a connected system, if you will. And so the same system where Oprah is saying, I want to make the same amount of money as the man who's married and taking care of a wife and 3 children, even though I'm a single woman, is the same technicality as that's being argued here, where a man is saying, why do women get discount drinks in a restaurant just because they're women? If there's going to be a discount, it should not have anything to do with gender. It's the same argument. Of course, if you look at things in a vacuum, both of those arguments are spot on. The issue, of course, is that it's happening in the real world where there are going to be other things connected to this situation. And as you can see by the letter of the law, if you play this way, there's going to be a cost. And it costs these young ladies in this community a restaurant that they cared about very much.
A frivolous lawsuit that took us down, and it's these ambulance chasing lawyers.
Several similar lawsuits have been filed throughout the country, taking aim at variations of Ladies' Night, including earlier this year in Fresno, when its minor league baseball team was sued over a Ladies' Night promotion.
It was exactly that, discrimination over Ladies' Night. Mm-hmm.
Did it surprise you? Were you shocked by that?
I was, a lot, yeah. I've never seen, I see Ladies' Night everywhere else.
According to the state, gender-based promotions like Ladies' Nights can land businesses in legal trouble, violating California's Civil Rights Act.
I wish all men were feminists like you.
Right, here's that check for you, sir. Speaking of all, how dare you assume that because I'm a man that I'm going to be paying for this whole dinner? Women are fully capable of paying for themselves.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want me to split the bill between you two then?
Actually, why don't we do this so we can really drive this point home for you, because you're giving me very misogynistic vibes right now. Leave the entire bill, and she will pay for the entire thing because she is a strong, independent woman who does not need a man to provide for her. As a feminist woman, wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, I guess.
In that case, here's the check, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, this is expensive.
Oh, you got it.
Are you gonna help me?
Absolutely not. As a feminist man, I don't want to imply that you can't defend yourself just because you're a woman.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, relationship. As a feminist woman, wouldn't you agree with that?
All right, this. I'm dating a conservative.
Nowadays, men aren't proper men anymore. And to me, one of the gravest sins a man can commit against a woman is wasting her time. يعني لا أنت جاهز. You're not ready. You're not financially capable. You're not emotionally capable. You're nowhere near ready taking on the responsibility that is caring and protecting a woman. And that's all they seek. It's one of the gravest sins you can commit.
Looking at the responses to the news story, the responses were predictable. Men did this absolutely disgusting.
She could have her debt paid off tomorrow if she would just sugar baby. She also said, if it benefits me, maybe it's not patriarchy, maybe it's just a helping hand.
We're cooked. Who would sue businesses over that? Men are insufferable.
What did I say? Hopscotching between patriarchy and feminism?
How are men this sensitive? Cis, quote-unquote, men are truly pathetic excuse of a man.
Patriarchy by feminist specifications? Partnership patriarchy?
Your blah, blah, blah. Tiny egos and over-emo actions are all signs that you don't like women. That or it's that time of the month. In Mr. Z Black and Effect's video, The Cost of Being the Boss, he essentially goes through this dichotomy of, I want some parts of the good stuff and I want some parts of the other stuff. And it's just a game that guys are tired of playing because you can clearly see that it's not a fair game to be played.
So this is why Mr. Z says partnership patriarchy. This is why Mr. Z says that this is why I say the things I say. This is exactly why I say the things I say. This is exactly why. Partnership patriarchy. See, y'all can't get that out of the women. Now they're going to try to reframe it and rephrase it and talk about benevolent patriarchy. All this soft shoeing. I want that part of patriarchy, but I don't want this part of patriarchy. And I want this part of feminism, but I don't want that part of feminism. This is exactly why I say let them talk. That lady let it out the bag, didn't she? If it benefits me, is it really patriarchy or is it just a helping hand?
It's hard to find a more exciting night than going to a salad bar with your friends or family and eating your fill of what you choose to eat. Of course, when it comes to gender dynamics and trying to form relationships in a new changing environment with new gender roles that have yet to be clearly defined, it doesn't really work that way. And when you hear young ladies say that I want some of the old stuff, but I want it under the new system, if it's not confusing for guys, it's just, as more and more guys see it, a bad deal. And when you hear Mr. Z say his catchphrase, patriarchy by feminist specifications, it's a little bit of the good stuff that was from the old way and all of the good stuff from the new way. And for a group of guys that seems to be growing, that's just not a good deal to take. It's not a deal that more and more guys want to partake of. You don't get any of the old way because the old way was toxic and men were dominating young ladies. But they do want the old provision and protection. And so for more and more guys, it's just, I don't want to play that game until I know what the rules are. And I think as a growing group of guys either get passports or look to date in non-traditional ways, guys are just waiting to see what actually are the rules. Because it's pretty clear that nobody really knows what the rules are anymore. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Catch you next video. Take care.